So we're a distributed database, all right? If you've got large data sets, we spread the data across a cluster, okay? We actually, if you've got multiple GPUs within each box, we actually consider that the worker, so we actually shard data by GPU within a box and then across GPUs and other boxes. So we're a distributed database, okay. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a machine learning library that you wanted to process a full data set on? And this is the way it works now, as of what we just shipped. You drop your machine learning library, or better put, your own custom code, and I'll explain exactly what the entry points in the code are, and you then are able to invoke your code from what looks like a database UDF or stored procedure call. I'll show you our API in a second here. We've got RESTful endpoints, and you just add another RESTful endpoint, and you call your code. Your code can access data in the database. And we distribute your library across the database physically, like the way Hadoop would pass a jar file around in a MapReduce job, right? We actually ship your code across the database. And each instance of your code is able to access that shard of data. So your code is actually able to run in parallel to process the large data set by operating in parallel. You still might need the equivalent of a reducer. You might still need some final global view, but you can deploy these libraries in a distributed fashion and in a non-distributed fashion. So, and your code can read and write to the database, and it gets it through memory mapped files. So your code is actually able to read from shared memory to get the data. So this is what we mean by, today, customers running custom CUDA code or libraries on GPUs, and our database is running on GPUs. They're not sharing data, or they're sharing data at the application level, right? I call the database, I pull back data over the wire, I feed it to my machine learning library, right, over its interface, right? So you can integrate them, but the integration is at the application layer. So what we're doing is opening up. This is reminiscent of what Apache Arrow tries to do, which is to say standardize on a shared memory format so multiple tools can operate on the same data in memory. So that's where we're going to.